Hello and welcome to Trojans Live. Speaking of USC legends, Sean and I are joined by Amon-Ra St. Brown. Just finished up his great USC career and put it together. Pro day last week, a 4.51 40, 20 reps on the bench. He went shirtless. Sean was jealous. He was counting that six-pack, that eight-pack. Sean, if you look like that, you would never wear a shirt, man.
Man, I did not look like that at my pro day, Jordan. Not at all.
Amon-Ra, we started talking about hoops. I saw you tweeting about hoops last night. What do you think about the Trojans' run here?
Man, I think they're doing a great job. I haven't watched too much USC basketball. Obviously, last year, I was at the UCLA USC game when Jonah Matthews hit that game winner. But with everything going on, with my training and whatnot, I couldn't really watch too much USC basketball. But last night, Sunday night, didn't have much to do. I mean, what else more can I do than turn the USC game? I think they played great. First time they got a lot of new guys and a lot of new faces, but I mean, they're out there hooping.
You got that sweet new do, man. I know people on the radio can't hear right now, but that sweet new do is out, man. The hair is bleached on top. You were rocking on a pro day. What about the change, man? What's the new do about?
I just want to try something else. I have short hair now, so if I don't like it, I can cut it. It'll take like 3 weeks or 4 weeks to grow out. So just want to try something new to get a new look.
Well, so how was it out there? Pro days, as always, I feel like, the combine, this was your combine. It feels like a nerve-wracking thing. Every time I've ever talked to a player, they say you're like more nervous for the combine than you are for football games. So what was that experience like for you, and how do you feel like you did?
Yeah, I thought it was, I had a lot of fun out there. I think, that was probably one of my last times being able to compete at USC. So it was fun, being away from school for about 3 months or so since I left in December, being able to come back, see all the coaches, see all my teammates. So I wouldn't say I was nervous. I think I was only really nervous for the 40. When I got on the bench, I wasn't really nervous, the vert, anything else. I think the 40-yard dash was probably where I got most nervous. Then after that, just went out there and played ball, ran around, caught some balls. So it was fun.
Man, I had you down for 25 reps on the bench, Amon-Ra. You let me down, man. What's going on with the bench press? Why the slide, man? Only 20 reps for a wide receiver. What's wrong?
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys know, against Oregon, I hurt my shoulder.
Oh, okay. Now we got excuses going now. Come on, man.
I had an ACL training against Oregon, so I couldn't really bench or train how I wanted to. And then, I usually, when I bench, I lift my butt when I bench, but again, apparently that's against the rules. So I had to keep my butt down, lost a few.
Yeah, I had you down for 25, but you talked about the 3 months you've been gone from USC. Where you been training at and what you been up to?
Yeah, so I'm right now I'm living in an Airbnb in Newport Beach with my two brothers. So, hanging out here, working out with them, doing everything. But I've been training at a place called Stars. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. It's out here in Orange County. Doing receiver work there, doing my speed work with this guy named Gary. He's awesome. He trained John Ross, Deshaun Jackson, some really, really good dudes. And then, obviously always lifting with my dad. So doing the whole thing.
What kind of feedback have you gotten from teams? Now that you're in this draft process and we've seen projections, I don't think you'll have to wait too long to hear your name called, but what kind of feedback have you gotten from the NFL team so far?
A lot of good feedback. I've talked to about 28 teams. So I think there's 4 teams that I haven't talked to yet. And some of them, multiple times. So I've been doing a lot of interviews with a lot of different teams, talking football, talking, my background, where I came from. They love to know, where I came from, what I'm about. And then, the coaches usually like to go over, plays and how much I know about football. But, feedback from the teams have been great. Like I said, they just want to get to know who I am and talk football.
Amon-Ra, what did this season mean for you getting to play? We know we saw a lot of guys at the beginning of this year decide to opt out and kind of wait to do it. You decided to opt in, have a heck of a season, put your film out there. What did the season getting to play football mean to you?
It was one of the best, most, I would say, craziest years I've ever been a part of for me. Going into, obviously, I had surgery at the start of February 2020 because my whole sophomore year I played with a sports hernia. So I got surgery in the beginning of 2020. I wasn't going to play spring ball. I was going to miss the whole thing. And then, we had 1 day of spring ball until it got canceled. So COVID happened. I think it was a blessing in disguise for me because I was able to rehab and be back for a season that I thought we were going to have. So I was rehabbing, getting ready for that next season. And then, having that season canceled, I think all of us, the whole Pac-12 was kind of devastated. We kind of wanted to play. We saw these other conferences playing. We saw the NFL playing. And then, flipping it around, actually being able to have a season, that's what I wanted most for us. Because I think, last year our team, I feel like as a player, I felt like that was the best team we've had there in my last 3 years. So I want to go out and compete with the guys, with my teammates. So we ended up having a season. We had a pretty good run. Obviously, we fell short, 1 game short, but it was one of the best, most fun years I've ever had at SC.
And then I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, I mentioned that typically you would have been at the combine and you would have had some quarterback from some other team throwing you the football. It worked out pretty nice that you got to have Kedon Slovis throw to your pro day. How was that? How did Kedon look, by the way? I mean, everyone's sort of wondering about Kedon because you both went down that Oregon game. I mean, obviously you went down and missed the end of that one, but Kedon goes down that last throw. So how was he looking, and how was it to, from a comfort side, having him that throwing you the ball at your pro day?
Yeah, it was awesome for me and for Tyler and for, Dom and Matthew to get, have Kedon throw to us. Cause I remember I think it was a month and a half out from pro day. We were trying to figure out who the quarterback was going to be. Usually you can't have your quarterback from USC if he's a grade below. If he's still enrolled in school, he usually can't throw to you. So we were trying to figure out who the quarterback was going to be. We were scrambling, and we got in touch with Woody, and he said, Kedon, and he got Kedon approved. So once he told us that, I think we caught with him, I would say every Saturday for about 4 weeks leading up to pro day. So we were getting reps in, every weekend. And then, out there, he looked great. He was slinging it the times before we were throwing with him. When he got out there, he looked relaxed, and he threw. I mean, I thought he threw great to me and to Tyler and all the other guys.
This is always a tough question for guys because you're going into the draft and you want to be politically correct with all the teams. But if you had a dream spot, man, I know you got some brothers in the NFL. Where would it be a spot for you to land in the NFL? What would your dream spot be?
That's kind of easy because I'm biased. I have a brother that plays for the Packers, so if I could play with him, I think that would be amazing.
If Aaron Rodgers slinging the ball too, it's not so bad.
Man, isn't it cold? It's cold up there, man. It's cold. Man,
cold.
brother, it's cold.
It is funny though. I mean, my theory, particularly in wide receiver, to me is a perfect example of it. Is it's often about sort of opportunity and where you land and the situation you end up in. And so I always thought Juju, I'm sure he would have loved to go top 10 pick, but ending up in the Steelers and being with Roethlisberger and around other good receivers, that worked out great for his career.
Right.
Your brother's playing with Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay. That's great for his career. I mean, how much do you try to, you always want to go as high as possible, but how much do you think the situation, is really ultimately what determines that second contract, and that's where the big money is.
Yeah, that's a great point that you actually make. I was talking to some guys about that. Like you said, Juju, I think fell in the right situation. Obviously he didn't go probably as high as he wanted to, but I think for me, I'd rather go a little bit later to an awesome situation than getting picked earlier to, maybe not as good as a situation. Because like you said, I think it's all about the fit. As a receiver, you have a lot of things that you depend on, quarterback, line play, depth chart as receiver. So I think, in my case, I would love to get put in a good situation, whether that's maybe a little bit later or whatnot. But I think, like you said, I think situation and where you go is the biggest thing.
Yeah, it's funny. They were comparing you a little bit during your pro day on the coverage to Robert Woods. Another perfect example. Robert went to Buffalo. It's a good organization, but his style did not really fit up there. People go, "Oh, Robert's not that good, kind of a bust." Then he goes to the Rams, fits perfectly. Now they say he's one of the best receivers in the NFL too. So hopefully it lands perfectly for Amon-Ra St. Brown, because we know what you are capable of, and we know any organization is going to get one of the hardest working players in the NFL. Thanks for joining us as always.